Okay, I want to hurry and start because there was somebody's name that I had just seen, so I don't want to forget it. Santos Bonacci. But look at this. It's like even more. I turned this every way to try and get this to not be like that. And it's, I don't know. And then Vortex saw something back in there. And so I got to watch the one from yesterday. It's like I'm kind of creeped out. Because I know there's things all around all the time. I know there is. But yeah, to just see it back behind me is like creepy. Because sometimes like, I don't know, sometimes it's like they want you to give them attention, give them energy or something. So I purposely ignore them. So anyways, but the Santos Bonacci is the one who's talking about that Kali Yuga. Hopefully I'm saying this stuff right. I might not be. So I guess this is kind of like going to be repeating. But it goes like with what the stuff I've been talking about. And so this Kali Yuga thing and these different stages. See, these are all cycles. This is all nature cycles. And there's different ages. And there's the golden age, the iron age, the silver age, like these different ages. And in the different ages is different states of consciousness. And we're going into the golden age, which goes with all the stuff that I've been talking about. It's the age of Aquarius, is the golden age. See, right then, when I just turned like that, it's like there's some big face right here. When I went and got my one QHHT, the first one, and they do this whole little thing with healing you, and they call in like your guides or something. And she said when mine came in, she was like, whoa. She said the hugest energy came in. It was like overwhelming. I was like, I don't know. I know that all I know is I'm here for something. So, and I feel like I'm protected. Like I have had so many things where, you know, could have died, or I don't know. It's all on how you understand things. So, it's like I feel like this world was trying to take me out a lot of times. It didn't work. So, so anyways, this just trips me out though. It's like I'm in two different worlds. So anyways, he's talking about this Kali Yuga thing, and this is what was ending yesterday, the cycle, and that is the two realities that were running simultaneously, like where we have, you know, some of us are awake and some of us aren't awake. And so this two separate realities going at the same time, which you can only enter theirs. They can't enter yours. To them, your reality is craziness. And to us, we can look at it and be like, it's just weird. It gives you just a lot of different emotions, you know. You question them in your head, like, why don't they see and stuff? Like, it's a whole process, you know, but it's our process. It's what we're here to learn and to understand about ourselves, because you can't make somebody see what they're not, what they can't see. And so, and we're not supposed to. It's like we're supposed to be able to relax and step back and allow everybody's eyes to open when they open, allow everybody's experience to be felt by them, not interfered by somebody else. So, in this cycle thing that is ending, that is the pole shift. So that's the pole shift. It's like this, this dynamic twisting of events. It's like everything going the other way. And it's so trippy. Is like, I feel like I've been having these conversations with people where it's like, where I'm really seeing this other side. I don't know how to explain it. Like, man, yesterday there was so much stuff. I was like, I should just write some of this stuff down because I know I'm going to forget, because there's just like so many things. And always there's like so many storms. There's so much. In Oklahoma, there's a lot of people sharing about their earthquake and how, so it's an earthquake, but it sounds like an explosion, and then they're shaking. They can tell those people like you're having earthquakes, and it's them under the tunnels, you know. It's hard to say, just like here. And I've seen so many videos where people hear this whirring outside that I had talked about a couple years ago that I was noticing out in the summer. And you could hear this. It's like they have a big generator on. Like, you just start noticing and hearing all these fake things. You start noticing everything's so fucking fake. And so anyways, that's a whole thing. But the so in this cycle thing, he's talking about this Kali Yuga or whatever, Kali Yuga. You know, we're going into this highly spiritual golden age, and see, that goes with all of this stuff with the age of Aquarius. It's all about freedom, and it's because we're freeing ourselves. We're freeing ourselves from this concept, this idea that they have us trapped in, where we like success, what success is, what living is, you know, what intelligence is, what is love, what is happiness, all of these things. We're reevaluating. We're changing our tune. We're changing our concept, our ideas of things. So we're freeing ourselves, because it's always been under their thumb, under their control. So now it's like we are freeing ourselves from the hold that they have over us, hold it over our spirit, because they can just crush our soul, crush our spirit, keep us down, you know. So anyways, if you want to know more about that, that's who that guy, he has a thing about it. I'm sure there's other people, but I had just seen his, and I have heard his name before. I don't know who he is or anything. I mean, he's obviously somebody who's in the spiritual community at some aspect, but I don't know. He's probably written books or something. But anyways, if I've said his name already, I'll probably say it wrong if I say it again. So anyways, let me think of the hair thing. Okay. So let's look at the hair. So you guys can be the judge. So it seems like this last bit is the most stubborn for sure. But it seems like it still all keeps changing. Like, whenever I go in, it just seems like there's more and more darkness. And it's weird because it like is fading back into darkness or filling back in. And so it's like you can pick up a hair like where it looks like it's light, but then it will start having dark on parts. So it's like all, so I don't know how much longer it's going to take. It seems like it was going super fast, but then I don't know how long. Like, I just wasn't expecting it to go like this. So now I don't know if this is going to be like a little bit slower because it's at the end, you know, or if it is going to still. So anyways, you guys can see it for yourself and you decide. You're watching. And then also on the eyebrows too. I'm trying to see how much more they darken. Because, you know, they were getting lots of white hairs in my eyebrows too. And then plus all the eyebrows and stuff start falling out. And all the hair right here. I swear to God, it's this radiation thing. I just saw this trippy thing over. Where are these people? I think oh, they're in Iowa or something. And she was saying, oh, yeah, because they're in Iowa, yeah. Because when she was talking, I was thinking if she was going to talk about the caucus thing, and she didn't. She was talking about the weather, and she was saying that there's all this snow. So she lives in the suburbs, there's all this snow. And then, so she went to go pick up her boyfriend, and he must live in the city. Like, she was saying these places, but I don't know him. So she went to pick him up, and she said it was so weird because it's like 20 degrees below, and nothing has thawed at all. But over in his neighborhood, I saw all the houses have these giant icicles hanging off of them. And she's like, how in the hell could that be? Like, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And so then she said her boyfriend started talking about this house, or sent her pictures or something of this house next door or something. And the whole side of the house, so the whole side of the house started turning into giant icicles. The whole side, like the siding part, is just all icicles. It's just the weirdest looking thing. I've never seen anything like it. So the deduction that they came to was, and she put, like, she was looking into some stuff and everything and talking to people or whatever. But so his place is tons and tons of towers everywhere. And she said tons of towers by him. And she said that this house, that the side is melting like that, is closest to one of them. And so it's the radiation. So it's like this ungodly cold. Like, it is so fucking cold, and it's like you can't heat it up. You cannot heat up a room. It's like so cold. It's like, I don't know what they're doing, what they're hitting us with. It's something that's so unnatural is making this where their polar flash cold or whatever. Like, they're trying to create an ice age or something. I don't fucking know. But it's cold as shit. And we aren't even, I mean, right now, supposedly, like, we're probably right now, we're like 20 or something. But right now, we're supposed to be like in the 30s to 40s, like overnight into the 30s. But yesterday, it never even got over 20s. So I don't know if we're to that yet. We could still be in the 20s. It's supposed to start raining. But the coldness, like, I cannot get a fire going good. And I finally turned the heater thing off. It just felt like I was just blowing cold air. And then I was thinking there is not coldness blowing under my couch because this rug was too big and I had pushed it up. So there shouldn't be a place for it to come through. It's got to be just the coldness coming through the windows or something. It is so cold. I keep keeping the curtains closed, but it could use a whole blanket over it. But then it's like the plants are going to be in there freezing. My daughter in Spokane said her plants are all dying. It's so cold. She said it's so cold that you can't even believe it. And their heater broke, and then so they had to give them an electric heater. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you guys don't have a fireplace, huh? None of you guys, and no, there's so many people that don't have a fireplace. Like, fuck. And they're going to turn the powers off. I mean, they already are in different places. Who knows at every single place if they're going to? They're like doing all sorts of things everywhere. It's like, it's just utter chaos, you know. And but remember, you know, your soul, this is what it, you know, it chose it. Like, no matter what weird shit, it's like you knew ahead of time. And so the coldness and the not being able to, like, I can't get the heat to get hot enough. No matter what I do, it is just so cold in here. And there's something else I was saying about that before. Oh, I'll tell you, too, with the girl, the journey, the trouble, I guess. Oh, and it's so crazy because, like, I can see stuff ahead and I can say stuff, but it just is like, because I write, so, you know, last was that they were on the train leaving to go to Bakersfield and got, I don't know, I think in Eugene is where she got off, because they said they were turning around and going back. And so she got off in Eugene. And so Portland's really bad, but Eugene is obviously bad too. There's a whole bunch of cities that are really bad. They're like this thick of just ice. Like, there is no, they said it just went from rain to ice. It looks like snow everywhere, but it's just a thick sheet of ice on everything, unless you're close to a tower. Then it melts in weird radiation ways. And so she said that, so she got off in Eugene, and the train went and did its thing or whatever. And I saw another TikTok talking about it. They said that they went from Tacoma to Portland, which should be like just a few hours. It took 24 hours. Their train had turned around and stuff. So I was like, man, I don't know if she was on their train, but I don't know why I don't know. Maybe it's because from Bellingham, she had to take that little joiner bus or whatever. And the train started over by Tacoma. And then by the time she got in Portland, and then it had turned around, but whatever, it's been like this hugest ordeal, this whole trip so far, right? And she's only a few hours from my house still. And so she, well, a few treacherous hours, obviously. And so she So she was in the morning time when she was back and she was at the hotel. I was saying, just get the room for a few days and let the weather pass. Tell her to go out and get some food, and just stay in there for a few days. And once the weather passes, you've already got your train ticket, so just take that train ticket and go, you know. And she just got to ride it out, you know. She's in a hotel. She should be safe. She'd be around a lot of people. And so, you know, that's my thoughts. And then I said, and tell her dad not to go, or tell her family not to go up there. And, you know, I could just came into my head, and I could just see it. And I was like, oh, no, don't do that. And so I said that. But it's like, there's so many things that it's just like, it's weird. Because then it was like a little while later, she said, yeah, her dad's on the way to get her. I was like, oh no. I was like, well, so I started asking questions. But it seems that she's got a conversation going with a whole bunch of people. I'm not the only one. There's a whole bunch of people involved in all this. And so, but the dad had left hours ago. Like when I had first said, when it first had come into my mind, the dad was already, he was going then. He left in the middle of the night. So he's from Southern California. And so I saw a picture of him. He's adorable. And it's so crazy. Oh, like she's so young, so I would assume like I just hadn't thought about him being so young, but I was just like, oh, this is so cute. She's just got this adorable family she's going to, and she just felt so lost and rejected by the world. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so fucking fairy tale. And the family's just like adorable. And so he's left out in the middle of the night, and he's from Southern California, and he's driving up here. And I was like, well, what about the passes and stuff? And she's like, well, he just has one pass. And his wife said that he's used to getting up early and driving in this kind of weather. I'm thinking, okay, but Southern California, is he driving like up in the high mountains? Like, where's he going to work? I was like, is he really used to, like, oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, it's out of my hands at that point. I can't just sit there and put out negative energy and, you know. So it was like, okay, we'll just, you know, stay positive, stay positive. And so then it was like, okay, well, they've lost contact. They no longer can track him. I was like, what? It's like, oh, crap. Like, and you see all these fucking horror stories that are going on and with these people with their travels and stuff. And it's like, oh, fuck. So then he had gone off the road. So he was on the 5. Everything was going great. And he got over whatever pass. But once he got into Oregon, it's just icy. And they had the 5 shut down for some reason. This is the bullshit, too, to me. This is what I don't put past these motherfuckers. Is that shut down the good road to make people go on the bad road. Because this is what they want. And I, even, you know, when I was talking about my insurance company jacking up, just so happens to be the price of my fucking ticket. And the fucking link's there. And all of a sudden my ticket was for the insurance company is telling me it was for 15 over when the ticket was for 5 over. But he had said I was going 15 over. And so the ticket was for 5, like the shenanigans. Like the fucking shenanigans. And so then I was thinking, you know, the links there, but I saw somebody else talking about the shenanigans going on with people's insurance right now and how it's all getting jacked up. And so they're trying to jack up our insurance because they're getting so drained by all of this stuff, but they're not going to pay it all. It's going to bankrupt them. There's no fucking way. Like, it only takes logic. What fucking insurance company is gonna, what fucking rich person who has an insurance company is gonna give all their money out to go fucking fix people's houses? It's not gonna happen, but it's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to go the other way. And that is part of, you know, a spiritual person's understanding is, yeah, we're gonna go through some hard times, but it leads us to good times. It's the dark before the light. You gotta have the dark, it brings in the light. So, yeah, it's going to be some bullshit, but it's going to bring us into way better. So, you know, we just got to get through this and learn from what you're going through. It's not just, you know, Rip Van Winkle, go to sleep and, you know, don't deal with it. Don't learn, just hide from it. Bury your head in the sand. No, you got to be present, experience it, and learn and grow. That's where the change occurs. The people who do that, they are the creators, the seeders of the new reality. So, and it's the lessons and stuff they learn from this is what carries on to create something new and better. So because I switched back to that Kali Yuga thing for a second, but there was something else I was talking about. The cold. I already talked about the cold. It's freezing motherfucking cold. The yeah, some shenanigans too with that. They're always saying such bullshit. Oh yeah, because now this doctor's all like saying, oh yeah, now there's a new thing with the Dovik. Yeah, there's a new symptom. Some of you guys may have it, you know, besides the losing your taste, besides this, besides that, besides heart disease, besides strokes, besides all of these things that are ramifications of being poisoned. But anyways, you know, you got that flu. So, and now it comes along with the GI thing, you know. And I've been saying for months, like after a certain fogging happens, that I get a total GI, you know, you get like a 24-hour stomach flu or something. And I would be like, how does that happen? How does that happen? What we're breathing in is causing us to have the stomach flu now? Oh my God. It's not good. It's not good, but it's kind of like going full circle because, you know, how many people sat on their couch and watched on the news as people in Vietnam were sprayed? How many people, like, you know, and I don't know. I don't know what was in everybody's heart, but it's obviously was in a place where we have to go to this other side of it. Whatever was done in a passive way that we allowed, now we get to experience. So this fumigation of mankind makes us all sick of this. You guys, like, are these fucking doctors just Nimrods? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, it's just like total program. It's like they're the robots. Oh, yeah, this was so fucking creepy. So there's this actor or comedian a long time ago. He was friends with Burt Reynolds. His name was Dom DeLuise. And he was a heavy set guy. So he probably died a long time ago of a heart attack or something. And I'm pretty sure he had a bunch of sons. And I keep trying to think of who these, if they were his sons. Because when I was thinking about these sons, he's who came into my mind. And I hadn't thought of that guy in fuck. I didn't even remember he existed. But so there's this show. Now I'm on YouTube Premium. So I love it. Seriously. It's like, dang, I should have done this sooner. No fucking, no interruptions. No, oh God, it's so nice. And, and, you know, even if you, which Prime is changing now to commercials, they say they've got to go commercials. Like they can't do it anymore. And I'm sure they're going to be changing. They're just, all of this shit's falling apart. But even though if you're on Prime, you still have constantly them selling you on their programs. So you constantly have commercials on Prime too. And now they're going to go all in on like other sponsored programming commercial shit. Because they had already split off with Freevee. And so they had other shows that you could watch these movies, but they had commercials. But Prime, then they didn't have it. Well, now Prime is going with, well, we're just going to put commercials on everything. Fuck it. So you got to pay to have that. But anyways, so far, YouTube, I really like it. And, but what was I going to say? Oh, damn it. Why did I go off on that other fucking thing? It was something about some, it was something that I thought was interesting too. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay. So on the, Prime, so this show is called Wayne. And so the girl had said, oh, if you're going to have Prime, because I said I was about to do it. She said, oh, if you're going to do that, you'll watch a show on there called Wayne. And she was telling me about a few different shows. And so I wasn't sure what the show, like, so I had seen it on there. So I marked the first episode to watch. And it had popped up in my watch it later or whatever. So I was like, oh, we'll watch it now. It's like 25 minutes or something. So I'm watching it, and I don't understand the point of the show so far. It's just like, it's like a weird, angsty kid who hates himself and is always looking to be beat up. Like, I haven't figured it out yet. Like, and it's got one of the insurance guys, the one, what is that guy's name? He used to be in the show with Dennis Leary. I loved that show. Dennis Leary's show with the firefighters. But and then he went and he started doing this insurance. He'd always, some insurance commercial, like insurance sponsor, but I can't think of who he is. But anyways, he's in this show. And these guys, his sons come onto the screen, and it was like a time warp. I was like, what the fuck? There's no fucking way. These kids would have to be like 50. Who the fuck? How could these kids still be this age? And so I'm like, and how in the hell could there be kids that look so much like these kids and the same personalities? Like, how is this possible? And I was like, what in the fucking clone, like, bullshit? Because there's no other explanation. Like, these two guys are definitely repeat characters. Like, I mean, it's weird. They look so identical and so much the same character and stuff. I was just like totally tripped out. And I'm kind of curious to watch the show more just to see like some of these characters. But it is like kind of dark, man. As this kid is so, I don't know, unhappy, sad, so like gets himself beat up like brutally. Which I don't know because I've only seen one episode, and I'm just tripped out by the cloning that goes on in Hollywood, because there's no fucking way. Like, and you know, and for how much they do it in our face in Hollywood, I think that it's done everywhere. Like, I think that there's so much more seedy stuff going on. Like, I just, you know, not tomorrow, but the next day, I'm going to the physical appointment, you know, to get them to give me a pass so I can get these fucking implants out. And I've got 3 different clinics or surgeons' offices that I want them to send the thing to try and see. Yesterday, I saw another doctor, and she was talking about all the things with the en blanc. And she was like, it's not good to be doing that. They shouldn't be going in and scraping all that tissue like that. All that tissue is too close to the lung. It's too close to the heart. And so, you know, more with this stuff, you know, these unnecessary things that they do to, you know, well, they've got to do this, they got to do that. No, it's just practicing. But when I was, because they'll still try and, you know, when it just is so ridiculous, because it's a foreign object, it's a foreign body. Like, it's so simple. It only needs like this big of an incision to get out. You only have to make this little incision. Then you put this, there's like a little hose thing. You drain the fluid out. Then you take your forceps, pull it out. That's it. It's like so simple. It's not even something they need to biopsy or do anything else to. Simple ass procedure. But no, it's got to be so much bigger. So like, you know, like a punishment or something like that. I don't get it, because you know how and it can be done in a doctor's office, like all these different little mini surgeries they do in doctor's offices, and to pull in this foreign body that is encased. He's got his own casing. All you got to do is just take it out and be done with it. And it is like this biggest ordeal. And then you got these doctors saying that it's dangerous, this other stuff that they're doing, and it's unnecessary. And anytime you cut out all this scar tissue, it's going to grow back. And then even just their whole thing, like if you're cutting out all this stuff, then you're still leaving more. It is, you know, shedding some of that stuff in there. It's like dropping off. So if it's so horrible, it's like, no, you got to let your body absorb it and heal, not all their stuff. All I want out is the foreign body out of me, and I don't want all their drugs to do it. And so, anyways, we'll see. We still, you know, have to wait it out and see, because it may still just end up being the med beds. And who knows how long that we have until that. Who knows how long we have until any of this. Like, it's on me January over, and now it's like, dang, you know, March is kind of soon. Like, if they are going to auction my house, like what do I just let go and just go, okay, see ya. I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. And, I mean, because it's going to go underwater. It's not going to be around for I don't know how long. It's not on the new map, though. So it's like, I'm going to sit here and fight for something that I don't think is going to be here. I even told my one neighbor, but, you know, to me, it seems like everybody needs to be thinking more about evacuation and going out of this area, any of these areas. And another thing that is trippy is I saw in Portland, so there's parts where there's thick ice. So I don't understand this, and I don't understand if it's just in one area, but, you know, this is something we've seen since fucking 2020, when there would be on one block they're having no storm, and on another block they're having fucking horrible storms. It's like, what the hell? This is so weird, but that's the difference in realities and realms, I swear. And so what was I gonna say? The weather. Oh yeah, the Portland. So the roads. So these guys were out on the road, and then there was smoke coming out of the road. Like, there's these holes that are coming up out of the road all over the place. And the guys were going over to it going like, this is so weird. And they were mushing it down, and it was like the ground is melting. And the person who was sharing this video said something about volcanoes alive under the ground. And then I know that the tectonic plates, that the scientists are really watching this area right outside of Portland. I don't remember which city it's outside of. It could be Newport. I don't know which city it's outside of, but they're really watching this area because there's a lot of shifting. But here in Portland, then it's like, it looks like a volcano is under, like there's about to be like a sinkhole that's about to go. Like, I would be concerned if the street was heating up and melting, and there's smoke coming out of it. I would be like concerned. I would think that the government should, like, I don't know. It's just trippy, because it's like, oh yeah, I'll go back on this story, because it's like, you know, it's trippy because the whole time I have been saying, even when she was here and she was going to be leaving, I said, okay, well, you're going to probably have problems on the way. So don't get freaked out, because I've seen all these people are talking about these horrible storms and all the problems that people are encountering, and the people are getting stuck for days and stuff. So I had already said that. I had already said it too, you know. And so anyways, so now she's, you know, in this hotel, and her dad has left Southern California, is driving in the middle of the night to get there. And so then by the time I know, and like, you know, I'm up and my daughter's up, because everybody's sleeping these weird times. Like I'm totally sleeping in weird times. Like Stella, like, I've been up since like midnight. I think it's 2:20 something now. So it's, I wanted to go back to sleep, but she just will wake me up. and then I can't get back to sleep. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll just get up and then I was up for a while. I was hungry, ate, fed her, like, just up doing our stuff. Like, it's like regular old day. I know I'm going to go back to sleep in a while. But I swear to God, it was all day yesterday even. I was just exhausted. As soon as I would lay down, she'd be laying there snoring. As soon as I'd lay down on the couch, she'd wake up and start crying. It's like, oh my God. I feel like some energy is interfering. So anyways, so her dad's on the way. And, you know, doesn't know about the ice and stuff. Or I don't know. I don't know what everybody knows. So then they lose contact with them. And so then we're all on our edge of our seats, like, oh my God, where is he? What's going on? And he was taken off of the 5 and taken back in some other part. And so, you know, we're all on the edge of our seats waiting. Then by the time we hear, he had gone off the road. So he slid off the road, which then his wife was saying, well, he's not used to this kind of driving because he's never been out in Southern California. I was like, oh my God. Ice driving is like the worst. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like driving in the snow is like not that bad. Driving on slick ice, oh my God, especially if water goes down on the ice, like this is, ugh. So she gets, so he's off the road now. And so he's out trying to get back on the road. Who knows what the hell's going on over there. She has been sitting in this lobby all day long. So ever since she got checked out of her room, she's been sitting in this lobby of this hotel waiting. And she's been going days, like, not getting to eat. Her whole trip is, like, I mean, this is what I keep saying about, like, trying to go and move around in this system right now. Like, trying to move and trying to be like, well, I got to get to a safe place. It's like, no, you got to wait for doors to just open. And even when doors open, there's still, like, all sorts of stuff that goes on, you know. You got to be mentally ready for the shenanigans, like whatever you got to go through. And so she's waiting in this fucking lobby all day. He's out in the road somewhere in Oregon, off the road, trying to get on. So then he gets back on. Then when they find out he's like not that far from her, he's just like a town over, but he can't get there because the roads are too bad. The roads are worse where he's going or something. And so, he said about getting chains. So he went to Walmart, I guess. And I don't know. I would assume everybody's going to be sold out of that stuff. And so then I guess his wife was online trying to find him some or something. See, I'm only getting bits and pieces. So then they had to get her a room again because he's stuck. Now it's getting late. Now it's getting to be dark again. And so they had to get her a room again. So then the hotel, the power went out. So then she had to leave that hotel and go get another room. And then she had to walk with all of her stuff to go get another room. And then, so now she got another room. Then he had to get a room where he is. And then they have to start it all back over today. Then even once he gets through this ice rink to get her, then they still have to get back out of there safely. It's like, oh my God. And then, but the story has such a like romantic fairy tale, like this girl who's longed for a dad. And then her dad comes rushing in to rescue her. It's like the sweetest thing, really, you know. And so, you know, sometimes these crazy stories, you know, have to go down like, you know, really show somebody how much you love them. Like me, I could sit back and go, oh, don't do that. Oh, God, I see that. Oh, God, I know what's coming there. Oh, gosh, don't. You know, that's why, you know, listening to me, this is something that drove my kids crazy their whole life. Because I was like, oh, my God. But now as I've gotten older, I've learned it's not for me to stop people. It's not for me to tell people don't do things and interfere with their experiences. You know, and then because just like that, you know, there's all sorts of beautiful stories that are told. So you can't just sit back and listen to the seer. They're like, oh no, I see what's gonna happen. Ooh, that's gonna be rough. Like that's gonna be hard. And then people are like, well, I'm not doing that. and then you interfere because of beautiful outcome. Just like this, what we're going through as a collective, all this trauma, all this drama, all of this chaos, all of this crashing down of the world around us, but we have to go through it because we're going to get to a beautiful place. But nobody wants to go through this shit. Nobody wants to go through all these challenges. Nobody wants to fucking be cold all the goddamn time. I don't even know about these fucking poor people who, well, for one thing, that have shelter and no power, but the ones that don't even have shelter, it's like, man, and it is so cold. And just with the animals too, like just what they're doing, is because I don't know. I feel like that probably that winter was created by them. Like, I don't know if maybe we, in a natural scenario, if we have like mild winters, and somehow they've just done all this stuff to make them so much worse. And then all the chemicals and stuff that they use to do all this stuff affects the planet. And so the planet is like fighting back. But it's like the planet's on our side. And those of us who are awake are on the planet's side. It's like us all against them. And these different entity groups, these different beings, have all taken different times and stuff. Like, down in these, like, lower vibration places, there's warring that goes on. And I don't know, like, in that one movie, Interstellar, how it showed all those beings that were, like, what it seemed to be in a high vibration state, how that war broke through into their reality. But also, it can be that they were at a lower, denser vibration, but they had, as a collective, raised their consciousness. So how they treated one another brought the society into a place of connection and like bliss, but that they were still in like a lower vibration so that they could feel, because that is how you get to feel things and experience touch and stuff like that, and experience these other senses, because really our insight, what people think of as their third eye or whatever, it's like your soul sight. It's like your soul's vision. And so that's the vision you always have. That's your natural vision. It is the vision of the glove, the being thing that gives you the new vision. That's what gives you the projection ability so you can see yourself. And so it is the unnatural vision. But see, that's what's so trippy, is because with this unnatural vision, the people get so flipped around. Like their inner vision, they discounted and they focus on their outer vision. And their outer vision becomes so much of who they are, so much a part of their existence and their reality, that they forget about their inner vision. And their inner vision is your soul. It's your truth. It's your real vision. So to me, that's the vision, that you want to, what is that word? Work on it. It's like, there was something else I was thinking I was working on besides just working on it. But working on it is like, yeah. So just, keep working on it. Keep trying to challenge yourself and do better. And I think working on that communication, and if it is through ways of like meditation or something like that, it's just this time of peace to connect to yourself. Because connecting to yourself connects you. When you connect into your inner self, your higher self, you connect inside your soul, that connects you to more like your higher self. It connects you to more of the universe. It all depends on you, your own abilities. I think it depends on how like how, not adapted, but that word keeps coming in my head, how advanced you are in your abilities. Like if you've had other lives, you know, where you've worked on that, you know, of being connected to yourself. And so you have an expansion of understanding. And then there's other ones that haven't. Like it's all different connections. It's all different things that people do when they go into incarnations, of how they, you know, what parts of them grow and expand. And it makes a difference too, what types of lives and what your lessons are. And I don't know in, you know, soul world, if it is like you have like a like an imprint or something, like a color of the rainbow, like your aura, like the color of you, and the color of you is attached to an oversoul or an organ or a philosophy, an identifier. And so that identifier of your soul is a part of your direction or your understanding or what it is that you're doing. But whatever it is, it all is like it's just so much more. Like the universe is real. The universe is our real life. Our soul life is our real life. But when people think they're dead, that's your real life. So all of that is your real life. But, you know, you have a whole life outside of this one. But trying to completely be able to say everything about that one is like, you know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know everything. I know that that is what's real, that this isn't real. And it's just as, you know, mind-blowing how many people believe this is real. How many people think this is all there is. And it's kind of trippy too. Like, oh man, the stuff with the government. The people who are all hung up on the government stuff. Like, oh man, they've got so much going on right now. And they're all so serious about it. And you have all these different, you know, groups. And they're all so serious about their stuff. But it's like it's all going to all of a sudden, I don't know, collapse. And so when they see, and it's wild too how, I don't know, so many of these people who are all government people are also into religion, Christianity. And I don't know, the Christianity is all being so shown. And plus the stuff in the news, like one pope now is going against another one and saying that guy's a perv. Like, all this stuff is just going to keep going and going and going. Like all these different people are going to be exposed. And however long, you know, it's going to take it all to go, it's going to probably just be going and going. Probably for, like, there will probably be a lot of it, like it's kind of wild when you think about, like, this is just starting this is the 15th, no, today's the 16th. So now we're just starting the 3rd week of January, and there's been all this stuff going on. And there's a lot of drama over on that whole Yemen situation. And in the UK, you know, they're sending 20,000 troops and stuff. Like, all this drama, all this stuff that is so ridiculous. King Charles has to step down. They have to put William in. Like, you got this other Dutch queen who stepped down. You got all these different people stepping down out of positions, and it's because it's all a collapse. And a lot of them were only in the thing as a part of the movie. Like, all of these different things are going to be collapsing at once for, like, the drama. But I think a lot of them have already collapsed. But a lot of stuff still had to play out. Like, they had to let the evil deeds be seen, because they couldn't stop them ahead and then just tell us, well, you know what they're going to do. No, we had to feel the impact. We had to see. We had to feel the pressure. We had to feel the fear of where we were headed, you know, to wake us up. and be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, these people are poisonous all fucking day long. And then they're trying to get us to come to them for solutions, and they're giving us more poison. Like, what? Like, that's a big one, you know? And so many people have to wrap their head around it. And that one, it really gets people all twisted, you know, because you start becoming kind of scared of your own environment. Like, what can you eat? What can you drink? What can you fucking, you can't even take a goddamn bath. You can't take taking a shower. It's like, you gotta hurry up, get out. It's like all this shit. You want to go outside and enjoy a nice walk. You go outside and start feeling lightheaded. Like, fuck, when's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? And, that guy that, see, I'm already messed up on his name. Santioni Banucci, being it, whatever his name was. The guy I was talking about earlier, that was talking about the Kali Yuga. He was also talking about the two suns. And there's a lot of footage with the two suns. And, you know, like the thing that they call the sun dog and stuff that, I don't know, I think it's Nibiru, is when you look up at the sky now, it looks like a giant eyeball is looking back down in some places, because it's different in all the places. It depends on where the different things are in these rotations that are going on. So, and I try and pay attention kind of when, well, not kind of, but kind of, like, I mean, because I do try and pay attention when I see these people with the different things going on in their sky as to where they are, and try and put it together in my head where the different things are in that Nibiru thing. Doesn't move as fast. So it is, it's like coming at us, or it's right next to us or something. I don't know. But it has something to do with all of the, it has to, I mean, it's part of it. It's part of the pole shifting. It's part of everything changing directions. And that's the whole thing, is that we're in this to change directions. We're in this part to go towards ourselves. That's a part of the cycle too, is how the two stars move away from each other. And at the times when they're the furthest away, we're the furthest away from ourselves. But then they come back together to cross paths. And then when they come back together, that's when they are the closest to themselves. And that is why we go into this period of time where we're super spiritual. And that's this awakening that we're going through. This is a part of time where people awaken to their spirit, awaken to their inner self, awaken to their inner knowing, their inner child, their insight, like everything that is inside of you. People awaken to that. When you awaken to what's inside of you, it is so, it's like the opposite of what's outside of you. So you have to come into balance with these terms of existence. And, you know, and a part of it is the aspect of self that was unaware of, the part it played when it was unaware of its full self, you know, and that is the ignorance that feels shame, because of not feeling connected or true to oneself, not feeling authentic. That is going to be something that is going to really bother people, to feel like that they are phony, to not feel authentic and real, even though people have accepted that in all their different relationships, in their behaviors and stuff, they accepted it. But it's like once the sun comes in, once that is exposed, then that is when they feel shame and regret. Like, oh my gosh, why was I changing myself? Why wasn't I being true to myself? You know, and it's coming up in so many different ways. One thing I saw too, oh yeah, because True Detective, so True Detective, so the fourth season has just started out of the blue, because the first season is like 2014, and I think the second season may have been like a year or 2 years later, and then the third season I think a couple years later. But now this one, so there's a big gap, and this one has Jodie Foster and somebody else. And so I was like, oh cool, I love crime shows. So I go on to start watching it, and it's only got the first episode on, and then just in the opening thing, I was like, okay, this is gonna have disclosure shit. This is taking us somewhere. Because Tesla, I felt like it said Tesla on the building at the beginning. I'm gonna rewatch I'm gonna start it over because I decided to just go back and watch the whole series because I thought, okay, there's something to this. I bet you to the story, because I went back and I looked at each one and I was like, okay, I watched that season, I watched that season, I watched that season. So I started the first season back up, and it has Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, which I was like, Matthew McConaughey used to bug me, but like all of a sudden I was like, he really is a good actor. He really is a good actor. Like, even if he has a part of himself that always shines through, I don't know, he goes to like a deep emotional place or something in himself, and you can see him pull it up. I don't know. But anyways, and I like Woody Harrelson. And so there are these two detectives, and they're on this weird crime, and it has this culty kind of stuff, has church stuff involved, has, one thing too is like a sheriff and a preacher. Like, you see how they come in to control communities. It's all done on purpose, and they use these certain things, and it's like it works together in controlling the people, catching the certain things at church, and then the people who are in charge always keep these people like under their thumb, keep them down. But so when I was watching it, though, there was something that was in it that I was like, oh, what was it? I can't think of what I was going to say a second ago. But on the fourth season, so I'm going to try and watch them all, but still interrupts me so fucking much. It's insane. And so I'm going to try and watch them, but I may skip. But it's only putting on Max right now. It's only put on one episode. So I don't know if they're going to do this over 6 weeks. So I was like, oh, I've got plenty of time to watch these other ones and then catch up and then see season 4 and see if it all goes together as a story. Because I think it does, but I haven't seen yet. But I think it has something to do with the situations that we have going on. So in this one, the fourth one, it looks like they're in the Antarctica or someplace like that. And then they have it's like Tesla building, and it seems like there's a strange creature or something. And but the Tesla thing. So I was like, because I just saw another footage thing, because there's so much stuff going on with the electric, so much stuff. But on this one, I just saw them talking to this guy, and his there's a problem with charging stations, and half the charging stations are broken, and the cars are just taking him to stations to charge that don't work. There's all these cars that are all like abandoned at all these Tesla stations because of all these stations aren't working. There's just like problem after problem. The cars just take them wherever. And I was thinking, oh, that is so funny, because those of us who don't have a lot of money, we have our certain problems. We're going through our certain things. But then you got these other people, which it may be real simple for them, They may just call a limo, come pick me up. My Tesla is not working. But still, even if they have to hire somebody to go get their Tesla, charge their Tesla, or whatever the hell, it's like, this is like become rich people problems. Like all these rich do-gooders who went out and got Teslas and try to, what is it? Is it like, it's like there's the social justice, but it's all these people. Everybody's trying to prove like, oh yeah, they care. Well, if you care, all you got to do is care. You don't have to run around carrying a sign. You don't have to show everybody. You just have to do stuff that care. Participate. Like, just doing this or that. It's like, that's just so you can say, hey, look what I did. I get a gold star. It's like, okay. So anyways, I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, you got all these rich people now, like all these Teslas just breaking down all over the place. And all these, and so I guess there's another absurd thing. Because like how when I had gone up to the food bank the last time, well, I don't know, it was I don't know, sometime. And the lady was telling me that they have had no food because that they have to get money from the state. That they have to get these grants to buy the food. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought the stores donated it. And she said, no, we have to get grants from the government, and then they give us money, and then we have to go buy the food, and then we put it out here for the people who can't afford to buy it. And so Inslee, our governor, was supposed to be coming to check out the food bank so that they could get their grant. And he came out, and then he walked around. She said he didn't give a shit about anything except for the charging post things outside. And keep in mind, this is a rural community with poor people, but we are on a state highway. So I was like, oh, see, they want these things set up around so that when people go up and you get stuck way out here on the state highway and you got to pull over and charge, then they're going to just charge people a shit ton of money to do it. I mean, why else? Why else would you, unless you were going to be making all this money back, why would you be putting all this money into that? There's got to be some fucking shenanigans. And so, but the food bank people were all offended. He didn't give a fuck about anything about the food. He just scared about those charging stations. And so now all this, and that was a few weeks ago when I talked about that. But now you've got this going on in other places. And so I guess Joe had said, like, I don't remember which place it is. He's going to give New Hampshire $120 million for their community. And so then this news person was going around asking like the people and like, what do you think that should be done with the money and stuff? And all these people were like, oh, well, I think it should go into our schools. I think it should go into our food. I think it should, all these different things. Everybody's like, you know, community things to have it go into. And so then the guy's like, well, what it surprised you to know, it's for charging stations. They're going to put in all those charging stations. The people are all just like, what? The absurdity in this clown system. Like, these people are not here for us. They are not here at the least bit for us. They use us. They trick us into being there for them. But they aren't there for us, and they just use us, abuse us, and as far as you'll let them push you. So, you know, the money, the huge amounts of money that keep being talked about and moved about, and you know, and where does all this money come from? You know, was we're paying for all of these ridiculous shenanigans. It's all of us, and then they just use it so they can get access to the money. Who knows what the fuck they really are doing? And you know who, my mom messages me yesterday and says, oh, so now to find out Martin Luther King was a real piece of shit. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. So he was just rotten, and like all this stuff is coming out about him. He wasn't at all what, you know, we were told. He's like Oprah. He's just rotten. Like Mother Teresa. Like, it's just crazy. Like these people who they've told us in history, like, oh yeah, there's such great people, Mother Teresa, she's a fucking traveler. Then you got fucking Martin Luther King, he's a real rotten son of a bitch. It's like, it's no wonder they put George Floyd up there. It's like, don't tell them what they're gonna be telling the future people. Like, this is such a clown world. So, and I keep telling my mom, like, she'll get really upset about some of this stuff, and she'll be messaging me like, oh my God, I'm so upset about blah, blah, blah. And a sick world, sick stuff. And I'm like, Mom, you better be prepared. It's about to get way worse. And I keep trying to like soften the blow, because she doesn't know like what I'm saying. Like, she's going to be, you know, she argued with me about the tunnels. Like, I can, you know, so there's a lot of people that you just like can't imagine, like they don't want to imagine it. They don't want to think that a world could be like that. And so when it's like forced upon you, yeah, that's going to hurt. They're going to all have their sleepless nights and feeling horrible and disgusted and ashamed of themselves for not listening and not being more aware. But the reason I keep telling her and stuff is because she just doesn't know what's about to go down with the religion. I mean, I would think that just seeing, one pope go against another one and all this stuff, you'd start be thinking, and then the whole thing over the synagogue, like everything going on over there, like it's all, there's stuff going on in all these different churches, but as long as it's not at your church, everything's cool. It's like, no, it's the religion. It's the religion. It's not just like how people keep on thinking it's the whole dollar. It's the whole currency. It's the banking system. It's the currency. It's the same thing. It's with the religion. It's all of it. And so everything, all these different things have to go. And the people who, I don't know, it's like they really want to hold on to that. That's going to be a hard one to crash. So anyways, I keep telling my mom, and and especially like all these things that I have been saying for so long. And I don't know. Like there's going to be, I just know where we're going. And we're going into, this galactic kind of time. And, that's what we're getting, this like soft open, when all this crazy stuff is happening. Stuff happening in the sky, stuff happening in people's houses, portals, all this stuff. Is to get people to start seeing and, opening up to see. Oh, and, when I was talking, now look at it, it's like it's starting to be everywhere. And that's getting heavier and heavier. It's denser and denser. And that's strange. Yesterday it was so clear over there. But I was looking over there. What was I going to say? Because Vortex was saying about that she could see something back there. And then I was looking over there. But now I don't remember what I was going to say. Because I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea what I was going to say. Was I going to say? I have no idea. That's weird. It was something about seeing something, I swear to God. And I don't know. I feel like I've just all of a sudden hit into a roadblock. Like, what? What am I fucking talking about? What am I even doing? What am I talking? Why am I doing this? Who am I? What am I doing here? Okay, let me think of, there was some other stuff that I was going to say. Like, okay, we still got the cold. Still got our girl being rescued. Still got them to have to get home. Still got to get to my appointment. Still got to get my stuff sent in for my appointment. Still got a little bit of this left, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think things are going to be heating up a lot over the next few weeks, but I don't know. I don't know if my house is going to be auctioned. If I need to just start packing. Start packing, planning where I'm going, which I have no fucking idea. Probably if they take my house, like if like I'll fight like the best I can, but it's like if they follow through, if not something in the system doesn't catch them, then I don't know. I can try, because I was like, I could file for homesteading rights. Already the letter I sent, all they had was a lawyer who started arguing with me and told me I was wrong. And, but I don't know. I don't want to go and, I don't know. To me, this is something to leave to the universe. I've just got to leave this to the universe. Like I don't feel like because I mean, there's no way I could come up with the money right now anyways to pay them to get them off my back, to stop them. I don't even know if you could at this point. I don't know if they've even, I don't know if you can do it before, or to me, it's like just go in and auction and buy it back. But then it's like, well, why even try if it's going to be underwater? And I've got all this stuff that I still have to do to it. I gotta rip out the kitchen, replace all that plumbing, replace all the floors, take out the whole fucking bathroom, put in a whole new bathroom. Then my little guest house, I'd have to take out all the walls, take off the roof, and then put in all insulation, put in all new roof, and all new walls inside, all insulation. So I have a lot of stuff to do. You know, it's one thing when you think you're going to be, you know, have it for a long time. It's another thing when you're seeing the whole planet start changing right before your eyes and you know that you're not on the new map. It's like, well, now look at this a little different. Like I need to just be, you know, not be too locked in, anchored into one possibility, one outcome. You got to just let, you know, it's kind of like you got to just keep your anchor inside until you know when it's a safe place to be anchored. When we get to a place, and then it's going to be probably be different for different people. And I don't even know what this fucking there's so much shenanigans going on with all these people because it's going on in other countries and stuff, not just on our border. Like over here, they keep talking about all this shit on our border, but this is going on in all these other places too. So, like, there's something more going on. And now down here in Texas, not down here in Texas, down there in Texas, now they've got, you know, where we got the federal government going against, well, they're not going against, they got moved out. So because the government was always going to split like this. And I think these kinds of things are just to show people like, oh, so our government is splitting. Our government is splitting in half. So there's the good guys and the bad guys. Let's watch how this plays out. And, you know, we have, you know, a side that is there to help us. And I just don't know, you know, about all this show with this stuff. It seems like to me that there's evacuations going on, that there's preparation for these cataclysms, that the cataclysms are already going in different places. And there's the Iceland now, there's more volcanic activity where they say now it's right next to that one town. But that town had been evacuated. But, you know, that's everybody's stuff being destroyed, which is still another one, too. Is like, fuck, Iceland, the whole thing could just fucking go just like Portland. Maybe that's what's going to start the fucking shit over here. Like, I would be, I think, I would be worried. If I went outside and I started seeing my ground was on fire underneath the ground and it was coming up smoking and that the street was melting, I would definitely be thinking, you know, there's volcanic activity. There's something's about to go down. And, you know, and if there really is earthquakes going on over in Oklahoma, and it's not really them doing explosions in the tunnels and stuff. It sounds like explosions. And earthquake isn't just a jolt. An earthquake is a rumbling. It's like this rumbling. And you can't stand up. And it seems like it lasts a long time. It seems like, you know, 10 seconds can feel like 10 minutes. And so they seem like they last a long time, but it's definitely not just a boom, boom. It's not like that. It's like those and you try and step and you can't. It's weird. It's like a fun house. And things start moving. That all depends, like how bad one is. It depends on how close you are to the epicenter. So, but for them to have like 19 explosions and it sounds to me like there's something else going on over there, but then there's going to be big shifts that are going to be going on everywhere. I think Oklahoma is still there. I think Oklahoma's going to be there. I think it is going to be, it's the places that are closest to Mississippi. Florida's got flooding right now. New York's got flooding right now. New Jersey, like all the coastal towns, probably in the Carolinas too. All the coastal towns are going to keep having flooding and flooding and flooding, and people will move back. But there's going to be some dramatic ones. There's going to be some drama that's going to go on. And it seems like that there's drama already going on in Oregon. and California. So I don't know. And then, the girl is headed down to California, which I don't know if there's going to be things that are going to move people inland, but the people who are over here on the West Coast, we got to move way in, especially if you're on the California border. Like, you got to go over a few states. Part of Colorado is going to be gone. Arizona is going to be gone. I think Nevada is going to be gone. Like, there's a bunch of places that are gone. Half of Washington State's going to be gone, the part I'm in. So I definitely have to move in. But I just don't know, And it can also change, like, in this pole shift is going to be changing the weather. That's going to also change, a lot of attitudes. And there's going to be so much more water. That's going to be so much more water, what is that always, waterfront property. Everybody always wants waterfront property. There's going to be so much more of that. There's going to be tons more waterfront property. And there's going to be a lot more, what was I going to say? But there are going to be so many changes. Like, we're not going to have electricity. And that's why we got all these problems with the power grid and stuff like that. And internet, all these things, they just keep jacking the prices up, making everything so expensive. And all of it's going to just fall apart. And this is it falling apart. Jacking up prices and not working and telling people that you can't run the power while you're putting in thousands more houses, having homeless people out there, even the transient people. And they're saying, where do we put them? Where do we put them? Well, you've got about 1 billion fucking empty houses. Like, fucking start doing something. So, there's going to be more and more of that. And it's going to be more and more probably community demand, where people are going to start stepping up and saying, hey, we're going to do something different. There's going to be all different things that are going to be playing out. So, but it's no matter what, it's not like if your community doesn't step up and make a big fuss, some communities will, but it's part of the show. But if yours doesn't, that doesn't mean things aren't going to be rocked. Everything's going to be rocked. Everything's going to be going in the other direction. So everything is going to fall apart, and everything that's falling apart is going to take down the other parts that are broken. So that's why all these different links, that's why some of this stuff seems to take so long. It's like, because then it's like shows, well, it's linked to Hunter. And Hunter's linked to and then this guy's linked to that, and then that's linked to that. And, because they're trying to get us to see all of these things. And really, what an intricate web it was of chaos and destruction and corruption. And it was all around us. And it was so much of our compliance, so much of our acceptance. That's why so many people, you got to step it up. You got to see you have value. You got to see that you have worth. You got to start learning to love yourself, because otherwise you just let people just beat you down and take you treat you like shit. So it's up to you. It's up to you to say, hey, I want to be treated better by my government. But the government, that's all just a controlling entity that pushes its power on the people if the people allow it. To be born under a governor, a governing agency, and for us to accept it. Now it's time for us to not accept it. Say, no, we've outgrown it. No, we don't need it. And you try to force it on us, but we don't need it. And nope, I'm not going to participate in your games. You guys want to have your little voting, and then go and play your games and find your community, and you guys all sit over there and do it together. It's probably going to be in a place called Gitmo, but it's not going to be in my community. I'm not going to be involved. I don't want any of these people. I would much rather live in a community that is much more open. It's like more of a, a tribal kind of a tribal, more of a committee, not just everybody up in everybody's business, just making rules for everybody else. I think we, as a part of our evolution, is learning how to allow everybody to live their own lives. Just like what I was saying, just because I can see all the problems you're going to encounter doesn't mean you shouldn't encounter them. If I'm trying to stop people from encountering their problems, then I'm the problem. Everybody should be able to go out and encounter their problems and live their life. That's what they're here to do. That's what they're here to learn. That's why none of us should be trying to put our energy or our demands over somebody else, trying to control somebody else, tell somebody else what they need to do, where they need to go. You know, it's each person's own living in their own consequences. It's their own lessons. It's their own life journey. And there's just, it's a controlling aspect of us where we try and override, think we know what's best, but nobody knows what's best for anybody else. Like, you don't know what's best unless you there's no unless. You have to walk in the shoes to know how the shoes fit. You can't just think because you see someone walking that you know where they're going. It's like you don't. And so it is each person's own destiny and each person's own quest and consequences. And in the quest to experience is where you find yourself. It's where you learn who you are. And whoever you are right now isn't who you're going to be tomorrow or the next day or the next day. It's always changing. It's always growing. So it's a temporary capture of a moment in time of who you are at that exact second. And there's no reason to put in so much energy of being of disappointment and sadness and aggravation. There's a lot more to learn about acceptance and learning how to go with the flow and to understand you're in a process of growth and expansion. So there's, don't hold yourself back by getting down on yourself and being hard on yourself. It's get more into the idea of what life is all about, into the groove of living. And so you start being more productive in your own expansion. So anyways, well, let me think if there was anything else that I was going to say. Because there was like, okay, those planets, the sun, the weather, it's just like a lot of, it's like a lot, it seems like a lot of people, like they were saying something, they had a certain way they were saying something, then they went to bed, and then they woke up, and all of a sudden they're just confused, and like it's like things are flipping in people's minds. Like people are having to kind of come into some sort of realization in themselves. So the things flipping, it's like flipping, but it's the people have it's like a moment of awareness. It's like people are just having like these things changing, but it's like overnight. Like you go and watch these videos, and then you watch the person in like these changes in like their attitude and what they're seeing and stuff. And I swear to God, there's like this huge influx of fake supernatural videos, but you can't tell. You don't know. All I can tell you is that supernatural is real. And so, whatever they're trying to trick you or whatever, just get it into your mind that everything is real. Everything is possible. Don't get stuck in the limitations. Like, this is all there is like, everything is possible. And everything is like things are so much more broad and expansive than what people have any idea about. Like people are just trying to be like, well, to have whole discussions about if there's giants or whatever. There's giants. There's Bigfoot. There's skinwalkers. There's reptilians. There's Dracos. There's all sorts of beings from all different places. It's everything. And everything is further advanced than us. And we are going through a time where we get to learn to be advanced too. So this is a really good time. This is really exciting because we've been held back by these other beings for so long. And now that we get this period of time of expansion, it is totally like, we're getting released from the lab we get to come out. But it just reminds me of like all these different footages I see of like the cows coming out or the monkeys and stuff. And they all go through different things. You know, some come running out excited, and some come out scared, and some come out like, you know, very timid. And so, you know, we're going through a huge change, a huge expansion. And it is, you know, it's going to be very scary for some people. And it's going to be very hard for some people. So, yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot going on for sure for this year. And probably for next year, there's going to be a lot going on. But this year, like, I think it's going to be jam-packed. I think it's going to be jam-packed. So anyways, you know, just to keep going with the flow. Stay present in whatever's going on around you. And, you know, just trust that everything's going to be okay. Your soul wouldn't have put you through this if it wasn't going to be something for good. So I know a lot of people, they can't imagine that when things are going so bad. But you just got to really see when the bad thing comes in, it's because the good's right behind it. You got to go through the bad part to get to the good part, because the bad part teaches you. And that is where it gets you to the appreciation of the good part, where the good part has, you know, really good, impactful things for you. But you got to go through the bad part first. So just remember, any of the parts you're going through, when you're going through the bad stuff, it's leading you to the good stuff. But really be present and really try and learn what your lessons are, what you're supposed to be experiencing. Don't sit and get in victim mentality and just feel sorry for yourself. Move through your emotions. Witness your emotions. Gain control of your emotions. And anyways, that's my thought of the day. So I'll be back with a new one tomorrow. I'll talk to you then. Talk to you later. Bye.